Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome once again in Around the World in 26 Weeks. And today, together, we are crossing the eighth milestone. Words are world. We deal with words every week because certain words are paradoxical. As a habit, we use them with a very noble perspective. But when we wake up and we become conscious, we realize quite often they're not too sweet, just like sugar. We love eating sugar, but when we realize that too much of sugar is not good for health, we control it. Sometimes we have to drop it completely. Today, we have one such paradoxical word to deal with, and I cannot wait anymore to share some of these beautiful slides I've created for you. So here we are. So we are right here on the dot. Welcome to small h to capital H. Uncertainty of hoping to fulfillment of having. So we are having a journey crossing this eighth milestone today from hoping to having. Let's discover some more facts after just reminding ourselves of these 7 statutory points I recommend to go through so that you derive maximum from the 20 minutes brief live talks. Now, I would request you to change a little paradigm from conceptualizing to crystallizing or contemplating. Playing with the words. So when I ask you to relate this word hope with this word longing, how many of you are able to connect it? I'm sure you're not using your brain too much here. When you use your heart, you will travel quickly from conceptualizing to contemplating the science and the art, and integrating these two, you become a beautiful being. So just go to the chat box and write, how do you relate hope with longing? Or at least you can just mention, yes, I got it. And then we travel into having. Travel away from your brain, from conceptualizing to crystallizing or contemplating, as I give you another word for have for you to write in the chat box, yes, I have connected it or I have got it. Living. So, small h to capital H is hope to have. And when we travel from its meaning to realization, then we get longing to living. How would you choose to live your life? Living on hopes forever, or you have it concrete inside your hand, and by that, making that the capital of your life, you live a merry life. Longing to living, hoping to having. And just reminding what we covered so far. First was A, attachment to alignment. B was belief to being. C was consumption to contribution. D was demand to deserve. E was education. F was fear to freedom. And G was getting to giving. And today we are on week H, hoping to having. Here are some validations to tell you the slides that I've created are experiential in the sense
the churning of these beautiful books that I've read in my life, each one a brilliant one. In fact, I started my journey creating Tough Track, and many of you do not know who have taken Tough Track and you're present here today. The word tough I got after reading this book. This made such a tremendous impact on my life. When I took the MILT training course under my trainer, the great Acharya, I got to my hand this beautiful book, recommended to me by one of our senior experts in the pharmaceutical industry. And I read this book, Tough Times Never Last, Tough People Do. And Think and Grow Rich. Then I came under the wings of Dr. Wayne Dyer, who has been a tremendous mentor. This was the second book that I read after I read Your Erroneous Zones. And then Norman Vincent Peale, a father figure who used to speak from Voice of America every morning. A very spiritual book and very powerful book, a motivational, inspirational book, The Power of Positive Thinking. It will never get old. And in the recent, the revolutionary book, Rhonda Byrne's Secret, many of you have read, and Awaken the Giant Within, another master, Anthony Robbins. So these are the books I have recommended. There are many others, but these are the 6 books which I feel I should offer my gratitude and also recommend you to read them. What I'm telling you will give you some lights about the inner essence of these books. I've created this chart. I love working on the charts as much as I love working on the words. Hopers, types, and mindset. Don't worry about the correctness of the English. We don't use the word hoper very often. But here the meaning is more important. Hopers, types, and mindset. Now mark, I'm using the word mindset for hopers. I'll not use this word for havers, which I will have in the next slide. It's because having is not a mindset. Hoping is a mindset. Having is character. So contemplate, go deeper, and discover within you what is the difference between a mindset and a character. That's a great work. And write in the chat box a few words that makes me feel that yes, you have got into the depth of the difference between mindset and character. Hope is a mindset, have is a character. So we are on hope now. So type of hopers, they're typical expressions, some sentences that we often utter as long as we live in hopes. And the prevailing inner psychology that drives us to remain in hope all our lives. Hope is a very sweet word, and the sweet sugar is always not very healthy. So a time comes in your life, you got to rise, you got to transcend that trap. Hope is a trap. We got better things than hope to live with. A typical expression is, I hope I win the lottery. That's a hope. Is it a great thing? Do you buy lottery tickets? You heard that story? Someone who was always praying to God repeatedly, then God came one day and said, hey, what you want? He said, are you a deaf God? I have been shouting and screaming and crying to you, Master. You have all the powers. I just want one lottery. Give me that and go away. Rest I will manage myself. God smiled and said, okay, I will give you that. You got to do some work. He said, you see, don't delude me. No work. You just give me because you have all the power. I said, boy, my hands are tired. Even if I want, I can't give you. One work you got to do. The boy said, quickly tell me what work I have to do. I think it's not too long. He said, go and get the lottery ticket. You have not bought the ticket yet. So, hoping to having, it makes sense? Wishful hopes. And then conditional hopes. If I work hard, I will succeed. What is the psychology underneath? It is goal linked, dependent on external circumstances and outcomes. Conditional business. That doesn't yield in this life. And there are passive hopes. Everything will be okay. God will take care. Time will heal. God doesn't work unless you work, right? That's the most beautiful thing. So, God will push you from behind. At least you got to start the ignition switch. Then the dynamo will take over and you will run your vehicle and reach your destination. Resilient hope. Now it's changing. Now it's becoming stronger. We are transcending from the realm of idleness to jostling through the crowd and reaching out. So that makes a lot of sense. So we have it in our hand then. And finally, transcendent hope. This is the sacred one. And in resilient, we said, no matter what happens, I will find a way. And the inner psychology was, you work on inner strength, determination, you are adaptive, and you are empowering. So all positive things comes there. And finally, you settle down. The transcendent hope, and we said, life has meaning behind pains. So you find meaning in your existence rather than sitting down and idling with hope. You are anchored in spirituality and higher purpose. See, you will ask me why spirituality? Realize one thing before long. We are spiritual beings, essentially, much before we are human beings. And now, we are having havers types and character. Have you written in the chat box as I requested? How do you describe the difference between a mindset and a character? To give you some tips now, for those who have already written, check up. Mindset changes. Character is pakka. All right. So mindset is a mind game. Sometimes you think this, sometimes you think that, so you juggle in your life. But when you have a character, then you are determined. So havers, types, and characters. Types of havers, typical expressions, and prevailing psychology. Material havers, the first type, and the expression, I have wealth, property, possessions. So it's security tied to ownership, fragile, fear of loss always attached to it. You have these big boundaries and fences around the big palaces people build, so they know they are on threat. So the fencing is very high. Social havers. I have friends, respect, and followers. So that identity anchored in validation, conditional living once again, and then egoic havers, social duty, it's a part of social havers once again, and material havers. Egoic havers of social duty, rituals, compliance with norms, and avoid shame, low awareness, low heart. Understanding? So these are the negative aspects of havers. So in your journey from hoping to having, you must identify where you are and where you can evolve into being. Now, grateful havers. I have enough, more than enough. So that is the feeling which is there for gratefulness. Contentment with what is present, and it nurtures humility. Now you are almost on the dot. And finally, the sacred havers are: I am whole, nothing is lacking in my life. So then you have attained the quantum level and you are creating miracles in your life, rooted in being. And you got rid of all your cravings in life, and your realization says that you are complete and whole all the time. So are you in this journey of ending up with a sacred haver? So that's the purpose, so that you discover what you need to do and where you are. Hope mindset and have character. I'm just compiling what I've discussed in a one page. Hope is wishful and uncertain. Hope is a wish, and they say wishes were horse, even beggars would write them. Hope is momentary comforts. A hope, I have hope. Hope is often idle and narrow view. Hope is reliant on signs, signals, rituals. It will happen, don't worry. So you look for signs just to comfort yourself, console yourself. Shaped by conditioning, as I've said before, influenced by opinions, confused priorities in life, and always unsettled. Now have characters: self-awakened, self-aware, self-actualized, present, centered, grounded, connected, not wishful, willful, and wise. So it's a wisdom to be in a hope character. Make sense? Now, am I stuck in hope or living in have? Hope matrix and have alignment. I try to compare that in order to just give you clarity why it's a great journey from hope to have. The hope matrix and have alignment. First, let's see the hope matrix. Do I feel tensions when I think about what I want? Check. Am I always planning and chasing? Do I feel separate from my goals very often? And that is the mindset of the hope matrix. And finally, is my energy full of urgency or doubt? Am I always catching up, firefighting with the hope that I'll come out one day? Let's see the have alignment instead. Do I feel peaceful when I think about what I want? Do actions feel natural and inspired? Do I sense things are unfolding in their time? And finally, am I acting from wholeness, not lack? These are the questions to ask. These are the explorations to undertake, to be absolutely solid in the hope alignment. A journey from hope to have. This is a life validation, and the best validation that I can give is from the experience of my life. Let me share my life story quickly through a few slides. A real story of my life. This is the land that you see, which is not there for many reasons. It was my land, but after building Vikashalaya, the land was then donated to the trust. So it's a trust's land and it's not there in land anymore. What it is, I'll show you through this experience. What if I told you this was not just a concept, but my own life story? This is how the land changed into what is being done there today. That is the place where I stay next door. And you can see that building was built before we built Vikashalaya. It was 2009 when I purchased the land. For 2 decades, I poured myself into building my dream. What has now begun to take shape as Vikashalaya. I tried it all: affirmation, vision boards, goal setting, tireless networking, running from pillar to post seeking support, but nothing worked. Nothing. In the process, I lost money, people, time, even my enthusiasm. At one point, I was so frustrated that I almost gave up. I blamed others for not understanding me. I even cried before God, asking, why, despite such honest effort, is nothing moving? Then one day everything changed. I began working with a wise mentor, a profound lady who helped me shift my entire paradigm. She was my coach. She showed me how I was carrying deep grievances, scarcity thinking, and a restless need to prove myself. Beneath my affirmations lay hidden doubts. My hopes were hollow, built on noise rather than poise or clarity. That's me. When the digging started there for Vikashalaya. And this is where it stands right now. It's almost ready. That shift from hope to have didn't just transform my dream into a living reality. It reshaped me. My health improved, my journey soared, my body regained agility, and help began flowing from unexpected directions. Today I see the vision unfolding with clarity and authenticity. These are all my people. I'm pretty sure some of you are already here discovering yourself. You came to Shantiniketan when the land was inaugurated 2 years ago, and it's now being commissioned soon. On the right upper corner, you see the current status which I showed you. But don't worry, this is the final vision which you will see in some time. We have given 2027, and I'm pretty sure with your support we'll do it faster. So that was my own journey. Hope is a whisper, a wish tinged in doubt. But have is willpower, loud, steady, embodied in reality. Thank you for being with me today. And that was my contribution to inspire you to change your paradigm from the hope to have if you really want things to happen in your life.